Everybody, thanks very much for standing up. It's really kind of you, but you can be seated now. My name's Kathy Wesley, and I work here, and I want to welcome all of you to a very unusual Dharma talk, in that it is going to be a little bit of show and tell, because our center comes from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition. We, for the last almost 50 years, for the last 48 years, have been observing Tibetan New Year, because it's a time of the year that's on our sacred calendar at the beginning of the lunar cycle. So this particular year, we got lucky in the United States in that we got to have 3 New Years. We had the first New Year on January 1st, because that's American New Year. In the world, anybody who follows the Julian calendar, it's New Year. But then we had Chinese New Year, which was a few weeks ago. And now we have Tibetan New Year. So we have 3 opportunities to start over. I think it's kind of good. We need that. If you're a follower of Buddhism, you know that impermanence is part of life, and that that things are always changing. So things are always changing. The lunar cycle brings us a new year, and in that new year, we get an opportunity to do new things. So I want to welcome all of you here for this special edition of the KTC Columbus Sunday Dharma Talk. The way it's going to work is that, like I say, it's going to be a little bit of show and a little bit of tell. So that's been a little bit of tell. I will be giving a Dharma talk at the conclusion of the show part. Okay, it's traditional in Tibet and other places where Himalayan people live to come to the temple on New Year. Part of the reason for this is that the first 15 days of the New Year, the waxing moon of New Year is considered sacred in the Buddhist calendar because it commemorates the time that the Buddha was challenged to a debate by non-Buddhist scholars, and he had to perform a miracle every single day for 15 days, and that won him the debate. He won the debate by performing a miracle every day because they challenged him. They said, well, prove that your Dharma is powerful. Prove that your teachings are the cause of happiness and goodness in the world. Prove it. And so he was able to prove it. And so that's why for the next 15 days, we encourage everyone, whether you're Buddhist or not, to do your best to be on good behavior for the first 15 days of the New Year. Why? Because it is said that anything that aligns with the happenings in the life of the Buddha, the effects of positive and negative actions are multiplied many times. So there is Buddhist confession, so you're okay. There is Buddhist confession, so you're okay. But I wanted to at least begin by giving you a little of the background and why we are here today and why the shrine is dressed so beautifully. And so what would happen at a typical temple on Losar Day is that everyone would gather and have great food, which I think you can all agree. We had wonderful food today. Thank you to everyone who provided our food today. It was wonderful. Thank you. So they have wonderful food, and they come into the shrine room. They make offerings to the head of the monastery. We don't have a monastery here, but we do have a picture of the 17th Karmapa, and this is going to be his seat for today. And people will come and either bow or offer a white scarf. The white scarf symbolizes your pure intention and so forth. And so it's kind of like the Hawaiian lei, only it's made of like silk or rayon or something. It's beautiful, and it has the auspicious symbols on it. And so they'll come up and make an offering, and then they'll go to this vessel that holds, I'm going to see if I can not stand in front of it. Okay, this is called a chamar. And one side is supposed to have wheat berries, and the other tsampa, which is barley flour that's been roasted. And you toss a little bit up in the air as an auspicious symbol for the new year. So that's anybody who would come up who wants to participate in this, sort of show and tell exercise. You can come up, and if you don't have a kata, you can bow to the shrine, and then you can toss a bit of the grain, and then you can come over here, and you'll get a present. You'll get a present. So I have small copies of the Heart Sutra for anybody who would like a Heart Sutra for their shrine. But if that is not something you have an interest in, we also have these little trinkets to give you, little necklaces that were made. And by the way, wherever Tifa is, thank you, Tifa, wherever you are, she made these. And so that's lovely. So that's what will happen today. And then after you finish, we're going to need a table for you. Could we grab that? Let's see. Is there a little table maybe in the back? We need a little table maybe in the back. Is there a little table back there? Okay. He's going to check it out. Okay. We're going to. We found a table. Thanks, guys. We found one. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. Some assembly required. Oh, yeah, those are good. Those are good. Yeah. Okay, so I think we got this handled. So, and then what's going to happen is that you have an opportunity to receive something and, receive 2 additional gifts. And one of these gifts is going to be a piece of cake, which, who would turn down cake, especially after that great meal we had downstairs? And then plus, Winnie has offered small packets that can be given to people who are begging on the streets. Because a lot of us see them and we don't know what to do. We see them and we're not sure. We see them and we're a little uncertain about what to do. But these have been prepared fully with donations. The funds have been donated, as well as the hand warmers. There's some cereal bar or a granola bar, and some of them have a dollar bill in it. So that packet can be given in its entirety to the person who's begging, and that will help them both today and in the future. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
They'll always say, God bless you, and then it sounds like, no, God bless you.
God bless you. Yes, but God bless you. Okay, this is.
They're very grateful, and their faces light up with joy. They can't believe they're not just getting like a quarter, and it will really humanize these people that have been dehumanized. It'll open your heart. So it's not just a practice to help them.
Right.
Help yourself in losing your fear of these people who are
Right.
unfortunate.
Thank you, Winnie, and thanks to the donors who made these possible. Maybe what we'll end up doing with these is that it's going to be hard for people to juggle cake and a packet at the same time. If they have a little trouble juggling, we could put the offering of the little bags over there, and then that. So if you want to eat your cake, then come get. You can try and do both. That's why we do have 2 hands. Yes. Thank you so much. And so that's what's going to happen in the show of the show and tell today, is that people can come up and make offerings. But first, the KTC has a couple of things it has to do. Our volunteer year, as you can see, with the exception of myself, nobody receives a wage here. Everybody is a volunteer. Absolutely everyone is a volunteer. So without our volunteers, we don't operate. And so we have one of our responsibilities on a day like today is to acknowledge our volunteers. Now, you know we already had a volunteer lunch, so that part's been done, but today we're going to especially acknowledge the board members, the 5 board members who make this place go. And so we're going to begin by having a round of applause for our outgoing board members. And that would be Amanda Nordhoff, and I don't think there are any, she's the only one who's rotating off this year? Okay. So thank you, Amanda, for being our member at large. And the next thing is going to be the swearing in, not swearing at, the swearing in of new officers. And I think really it's going to be, okay, you and Andy, okay, come on in. Okay, and then I'm going to have you stand here, and then if you have an extra copy of that, the person who's going to be giving you the oath of office is going to be Brett, because anybody who took refuge in the last group with him, you can come up and help, because.
Steve also.
Oh, yeah, Steve.
I mean, he's not new, but he's a board member. Should he retain?
No, it's all right. Yeah. So yeah, you can. You're good. You're good. Okay. We're just checking, should old board members retake? And it's like, no, they're covered. So believe it or not, we're not going to do it like the formal, like repeat after me thing, because So we're just going to have you. You're the, what is it? The giver of the oath, and these are the takers of the oath. And so I'll have you.
All read together.
Yeah, I'll read together. And if you'd like, I have a copy, and then I'll put it on the microphone.
Okay.
Okay. In the presence of all the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Sangha, and all beings as my guests, Devas and Asuras rejoice. As an officer of KTC, I pledge to devote myself to the purposes set forth in the Articles of Incorporation of KTD. While holding office, I vow to place the interests of KTD above my personal concerns. I promise to follow the directives, policies, and guidelines established by the directors and supervising officers of KTD. I agree to act with discretion and to respect the confidentiality of all affairs of KTD entrusted to me. I pledge to practice meditation and study the teachings of Buddhism. I vow not to falsify informations, financial reports, reports on projects, and for personal advantage. I promise to act and speak with respect and truthfulness toward the directors and officers of KTD and the students and practitioners who compose the Sangha. I pledge not to misrepresent or distort the teachings of Buddhism, and promise not to encourage factions or divisions which misinterpret the teachings and promote spiritual materialism. I assume responsibility to communicate socially and personally with the students and practitioners of the churches and other programs of KTD, that I may serve rather than just perform my office in a narrowly defined technical way. I assume responsibility for spiritual welfare and well-being of the communities of KTD. So Chuck Drake is our new director for the next 2 years, and Andy is our new member at large for the next year. So thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now, let's see. I have to look at my list. Oh boy, I think that's it. One of the things we like to do, and we should have done at the very beginning, is read the Tashi prayer from the Red Book. So if you'll open the Red Books in front of you, the very first prayer in the book is called the Prayer of the Eight Noble Auspicious Ones. This is a quotation from the sutras. Someone asked the Buddha, how do I bring auspiciousness to any situation? How do I make goodness arise in any situation? And he said, you do it by reciting the names of the Buddhas and the names of the Bodhisattvas, all the awakened ones. That's how you do it. So, by the way, if you don't have a book, there are some extra books we can hand to the back here. There's a person at the end. There's a person in the back that doesn't have a book. Here you go, Bub. Could you pass that to the gentleman? Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, okay, good. All right. Yeah, anybody else need a book? First prayer in the book, Prayer of the Eight Noble Lessons. And some people tell me, I don't understand the words. And I say, yeah, I know. It's a thing, but the language has a blessing on it in that it was developed specifically for the purpose. Oh, it's not the first prayer in the book? Oh, darn. Okay, what page is it on, Steve? 34? Okay, sorry about that, friends. Thank you for the help there, Steve. Yeah, thanks for the help, Steve. I appreciate that. You know, so what you can do is say, hey, you can just, if the words don't mean anything to you, what you can do is say, I am reciting these words for the benefit of everyone who can hear them and for the benefit of all beings everywhere. And you can also just meditate, so your choice, okay? All right. We'll use a melody we used a long time ago. Om Nan Si Nan Da Ra Shin Lun Tru Pe Tra Shi Cho Chui Jin Ha Zhe Pai San Jie Chu Dang Gen Den Ba Pe So Hu La Cha Cao Da Cha Tra Shi Shou Drun Mei Jiao Po Sao Ten Den Zhu Gan Zhang Pei Gen Pa Ge Tra Pao Tam Pa Kun La Gong Ba Jia Che Dra Pa Chen Lun Po Tar Pa Sao Dra Pa Ta Ni Sem Chen Tam Che La Gong Dra Pe Pa It Sim Se Pa Sao Ra Tra Pa Te Sen San Du Bei Tra Shi Ba Pe Wa E War She Pa Je La Cha Ca Lo Chang Ba Shen Nu Pal Den Dor Che Zin Chen Rei Si Huang Gong Po Jang Pe Pao Sa Yi Nim Po Dri Pa Nam Pa Sel Nam Ke Nim Po Pa Cho Kun Tu Zan U Pal Dor Je Pe Ka Lu Shin Dam Nor Buddha Hua Rel Tri Ni Ma Yi Chak Sen Len Nam Tra Shi Pal Ji Cho Chan Chup Sem Pa Ge La Chat Sa Lo Rin Chen Du Cho Tra Shi Ser Gi Nya Du Chom Bo Zong Yi On Kam Ha La Yen Tra Den Dan Ben So Ba Pe Yu Min Up Chat Sen Wang Kyer Kor Lor Te Rin Chen Ta Cho Che Ki Chat Sen Chen Cho Du Cha Hua Chu Ching Ge Ke Ma Ge So Ngo O Dren Pe Pa Pe Wei Tra Shi Lam Ho Ge La Chat Sa Lo Sam Pa Chen Po De Jun Se Mei Bu Mit Dan Ten Tang Yao Po Yu Kor Sum Pa Ke Po Dan Lu Wang Mik Mi San Nam Tu Se Te La Tse Kor Lo Dan Tri Shu La Dan Den Ten Dor Jie Chen Pi Wang Rel Tri Chu Ten Zhao Sen Sin Sa Sum Ne Su Ge Le Tra Shi Pel Chi Ten Kyong A Je La Chat Sa Lo Da Chat Den Dir Cha Wa Tsong Pa La Ge Dan He War Se Wa Kun Shi Ne Du Dun Pa Pel Sam De Yi Shin Zhu Tra Shi Te Le Pun Sum So Partial. Okay, that's the last time I think for now you'll be using the red book. So you can set that to the side. Then the next thing that we'll be doing is going to be I guess this was the tell part, right? So now we have to do the show of the show and tell. And so what's going to happen now is that we're going to make the offerings. And the way this is done, we're going to start with a practice that's called the offering of the body, speech, and mind. And this is a means of praying for the longevity of all of our masters. And we'll start by making an offering of what is called a mandala. You'll see a beautiful plate that has 5 small sculptures on it, and they stand for this universe. They are, I guess you could say, an artistic representation of the universe. And they'll be offered to the teacher, followed, and that's going to be on our teacher throne here, and it will be followed by an offering of of a body of the Buddha statue. So it'll be a longevity statue. I think it's is it White Tara? Okay, a statue of White Tara for longevity, a book of the Dharma for the speech. The mind will be represented by a stupa, a small statue representation of the reliquary that we have out on our front porch. And then the mind, I'm sorry, that's the mind. Then the qualities will be a treasure vase of longevity, and the activities will be a double vajra, which symbolizes the activity of the Buddha. And so those will be offered, and then anybody who wishes can come up and make an offering and toss a little bit of barley, grab a piece of cake, which I think, are we going to need some cake servers? Anybody have, okay, we have a couple cake servers, okay, very good. And then you can return to your seat, and then I'll give a Dharma talk, okay? The problem with the text is that it's a little long, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through it all, but let's give it a shot, okay? We'll start here. Instead of reciting the first things 3 times, we'll just recite them once. So I'll be your chant leader today, and Matthew's going to assist me. We may need him at some point here, Don, our substitute. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, it begins with refuge and bodhicitta. Sanje chudan sochi chonam la, jang chu pardu dangni kyab suchi, dagi jin soji pe sunam ki, drola penchir sanje druparsho. And we'll just chant the 4 measurables. Sem chen tam che te wa tong te wei gu tong ten par jur chik du ngao dong du ngao gi gu tong dra war jur chik du ngao me pe de wa dong pa dong me dra war jur chik ye ring cha dong yong dra wei tong non chen po la he par jur chik. I am going to need a glass of water. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. But I will try I'll try to lead it. I forgot to bring one up. Oi jine suda che che jitena du sun she pa mi sen ke kun da gi ma lu de da tam che la dang na hi dang wei cha ji yo sang po chu pe mo la ta ta ki jia wa tam che yi ki yo sum du Jingi du ne lu rap tu pai, yawa kun la rap tu chak salo, du chik te nam du ne sanje nam, sanje si ki yu na ju padak, de tar chu ki nam malu par, tam che yawa da ki gong war mo. Dak tak nyak pa me jing ya so nam ya ki le ya ki so je kun ji ya wa kun ji ton ten rap che ching de wa je pa tam che da ki tuk mi tuk dam pa ching hua dam pa dang sil nyen nyam drak tu pa tu chuk dang
Marme chok dang du po dam pa yi. Yawa de dak la ni cho parji. Naza dam pa nam da dri chok dang. Chi me por mari ram yam pa dang. Kupa ke par pa pe chok kunji. Yawa de dak la yang o parji. Chupa ganam la ne ya che war. De dak yawa tam che la yoma. Sang po chula de pe tap taki. Jawa kula chak sao chuparji. Chuchak chi dan ti mu wang yini. Ludang yang dang de shen yi ki yang. De pa dak yi chi pa chi che pa. De dak tam che dak yi so shak. Chok chuk yawa kundang san che se. Rang yao nam dang lo dang mi lo dang. Droa kun yi su nam ga la yang. De da kun ji je su da yi rang. Gan nam chak chu jin ten drum ma dak. Chan chu rim par san che ma chak ni. Kampo de dak dak i tam che la. Kor lo la na me par kor war kor. Yang yen de tong gang she de dak la. Troa kun la pin she de wei cheer. Kao pa jing gi du nye ju par yang. Daki tal moro jar so wa ji. Chak sha wa dang che ching sha pa dang. Jesu yi rang ko jing so wa yi. Ge wa chung se da ki chi sak pa. Tam che da ki jan shu chi.
No, oh, you can stand. But you can come with me. Yeah, come with me. Okay, yeah. Okay, you can, yeah. Now we're going to offer the universe. You're going to help me, right? Yeah. Okay, very good. All right, and you'll have to get it started.
Okay. Om benza sato samaya malu palaya benza sato tenopa tita jiro me bawa suto kayo me bawa supo kayo me bawa anurakto me bawa sarva siddhi me trayatsa sarva karma sutame sitam shriya kuruhom ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata kata pensi mame munse pensi bawa ma samaya sato Om benza bhumiya hoi shi na parta pawan shen se shi sa shi Om benza rekiya hoi chi chakri kor yogi rewa Nang su kor wei su ri gyao po ri ro chok rap shar lu pak po lo zam bu ling nu pa lang cho chan ra min yen lu dan lu pak nga ya dan nga ya shen yo chen dang lun cho dro dra min yen dan dra min yen ji da rimbo che ri wo pak san ji shing Chuba mamu pe loto Kolo Rinpoche, Norbu Rinpoche, Sunmo Rinpoche, Lumpo Rinpoche, Longpo Rinpoche, Dachon Rinpoche, Mapo Rinpoche, Terchen Poi Bumpa, Kemoma, Trewama, Luma, Karma, Metoma, Tupuma, Nansama, Trichama, Nima, Tawa Rinpoche Du Chole Nampa Chawe Chaltsen Usala dang mi pao cha war sum so pa ma sang wa me pa di ni ram cham gyao so du gi drang le de pa nyo pa kum pa di ni kyav da kor lo gom po dam re dor je lo pan chak sha pe. Page turn. Ao pe yao sur so ching che la shab ke cho ki kor lo tak pa gyun du kor wa so wa de pe lun du pyu war ji o du che dro we dun che se so so se ne jin chi lap tu so om mandala putsa mega samudra saparanavana sambaya ahong si shi po chu jik shu mi tok tram ri rap ling jin yin ge jian pa di san che shing tu mi te pu a yi dro kun nam dak shing la chu par shu.
Okay. Now. Okay. Okay.
The Buddha statue.
Okay. I didn't have my page ready. Ten dro tsu jen pa ten lama Losar ten pe han yen di po e gang gu ka pa ga tsor sho se pe Jensen na ta tu par jurchik chiki wan cho pal de la mala te cho du si le bam di po e gan se la drup chu trin chen le sha pye dam chu char chen wap tu so ye she chor ne pa den la ma la cha we chu ku ten cho di po e gan tu tan dang nin je so je pe shi pe da so dro la je kong so yun ten me jun pa den la ma la tu gu cho we bo san di po e tra me nor bu ka tu he se pe sa sun dro we re wa kon se so trele ta ye pa den la ma la nga so dor je cha ja di po Kumin Lorje Zhen La Shu So Sumin Chatsan Yanda Puzung So Tu Mi Yuka Da Chen Zu So De Chen Dorje No War Shu Su So Min Jur Lun Po Kuyi Tra Shi Shok Yen La Tru Chu Tungi Tra Shi Shok Da Dra Mi Ne Tuki Tra Shi Shok Jiao Wei Kun Sun Tuki Tra Shi Shok Ka Ju Lama Nam Ki Tra Shi Shok Yidam La So Nam Ki Tra Shi Shok Pa Wo Kandro Nam Ki Tra Shi Shok Chu Chun Suma Nam Ki Tra Shi Shok Ne Dir Ne Mo De Le Sen De Lek Ni Me Gon Yang De Le Shing Yin Sen Ta Tu De Le Pa Kun Shuk Sung Gi Tra Shi Shok. So thank you. This is the second part of the show and tell part. This is then the show part. Now everybody will have the opportunity to come up and either if you have a kata, you can offer it on the pile, but if you don't, you can merely bow. And then we'll have a helper here showing you how to toss a little bit of rice and tsampa for good luck. And because we are praying for the long lives of all of our masters, and because His Holiness the Dalai Lama is an emanation of Chenrezig, and because His Holiness Karmapa is an emanation of Chenrezig, and all the great masters are emanation of the Bodhisattva of compassion, let's pray for the long life and excellent health of His Holiness Dalai Lama, His Holiness Karmapa, and all the masters. And we'll do that by reciting the compassion mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. So you're going to help me, okay? Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Eric, yeah. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you, great idea. Om Mani Padme Hum. Beautiful. Om Mani Padme Hum. Let's switch places. I'll get over here. Okay. Om Mani Padme Hum. Now we got it. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Ready? Landing. Wonderful to see you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Om Mani Padme Hum. Relics. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani for the children to come to the front of the line, please. If the children could come to the front of the line, please. Om. Sorry about that, Tommy. Relics. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme. Yeah, you can come around that way. Yeah. Om Mani Padme Hum. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can not have the line here. Padme. Good to see you. These are relics. Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thanks for coming. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. These are reliquary. Everybody needs a blessing with the relics, right? You can Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani I think for the children, just these. Okay, get a blessing, and then you get a little present. Yeah. Hello. Little blessing. You have a lantern. You can put it right here. You can put your lantern here. Okay. Put your lantern here, right? Okay, good deal. Get a blessing and then a little present. Okay. You can put your lantern here. Thank you for bringing a lantern. Put that there, and then she has a little present for you. Hi, this is your lantern. Will you put it here? Wonderful. I'm going to give you a blessing. And she has a present. Hi. This is a blessing, and she has a little present. She has a little present for you. Very kind, thank you. You have a lantern? Put that right there. Put the lantern right there. All right. Blessing. Okay, so a little present. Thank you so much for coming. Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 Om Mani
Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Meal prayer.
Rinpoche, Ada Rinpoche, Chupa Bull. Three jewels, bon appetit. Yep.
Servers.
still throw a little samba? I forgot.
Oh, sure. Heck yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. Absolutely. Okay. I'll tell you what. This has been a good Losar celebration so far. You guys give it a thumbs up. Are we good? Yeah. I want to thank all of you for coming today. Really appreciate having you be here. And while people are getting cake, while people are getting and enjoying cake, I'd just like to say thanks again to all of the volunteers who make it possible for us to be here every week and offer sitting meditation to so many people and offer instruction in introduction to meditation and introduction to Dharma to so many people. It's really been a journey for us. And in 2027, we will celebrate our 50th anniversary. And yeah, Chelsea is bringing the handout items to the back of the room so you don't forget them when you leave, right? Don't forget them. And I want to also thank Jane and Nathan and all of the folks for bringing the children up today. That was wonderful. They have really beautiful lanterns, right? So yes, they made little Buddha lanterns, and they have like little tea light, electric tea light candles in them. So thank you very much, everybody who brought a lantern today. Thank you. And I really want to appreciate all of you for all you've done to take care of our kids and to look out for the next generation of Dharma practitioners, right? Also like to thank all of our Himalayan friends. Thank you so much for bringing a little bit of home to us. The food was amazing, and the goodies were amazing. So, in fact, I had to grab a couple extra dumplings. It happened, and I enjoyed the cookies as well. Well, because we're running a little bit behind today, I won't give a very long talk today. Just maybe 10 minutes, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, just so that you have something to listen to while enjoying your cake. Yeah, because samsara of the Buddha's teaching was that samsara, this world we live in, it can sometimes be an ocean of suffering. But every now and then, even into an ocean of suffering where nothing is certain and impermanence is king, that we can have cake. There is cake in samsara. It's not everlasting cake. It is only temporary happiness, but it's not bad on days like today. Days like today with the sunshine and the blue sky, we feel like samsara might be workable. Ultimately, the Buddha taught that it is that the world we're living in it's not ultimately satisfying. There may be temporary happiness, but it's not ultimately satisfying. And what really satisfies, I hate to say this, is not cake. It is the food of meditation. Those of you who were here a few weeks ago when Lama Drodol gave his talk, he said that there are 4 kinds of nourishment. One was actual food. The other was sleeping, which nourishes your mind and your body. Another was, massage and other types of health practices. And the 4th kind of nourishment is meditation. And so it's my hope that us providing this place for you to come and meditate is part of that nourishment for you, and that you will make use of this and come as many times as you would like to meditate and be with us. And so we have here a staff of wonderful volunteers who make it possible for us to be here. And we have folks like Lama Tom, Lama Wangdu, all of the people who can help with the teaching, as well as our senior meditation instructors, Kathy Jackson and Eric Weinberg and Marcus Casey, And they're just, they provide us with so much. Now, we have to think about what we're going to be doing in the next 15 days, right? The next 15 days are very important for us because they help us get the year started. And so my Dharma talk today is about the next 15 days. The next 15 days. What are we going to do the next 15 days? I would encourage all of you to pick something small, but doable. I love English, don't you? Doable is not a word, but we made it up. You do things, and able means that you are able to do it. So doable. I think it's a funny little phrase in English, but I think we have to choose something small that is doable. A friend of mine that took on the idea of trying to meditate for 5 minutes every day. Now, this means sometimes the meditation happens as they are going to bed at night. That they take either their smartwatch or their smartphone or something, and they set a timer for 5 minutes. And they just allow their mind to relax just a little bit. They choose a topic. The topic can be the breath, following the breath in, following the breath out. Or it could be something like a mantra, like the compassion mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum. Or it could be something like a phrase, may all beings be happy. May all beings be free of suffering. And that you, with your out breath, you wish beings happiness, and with the in breath, you wish them freedom from suffering. These kinds of trainings are very small, but they will make a difference. My friend who took on the compassion, that was the thing they chose to do, was the compassion practice. Breathing out and wishing good for beings, breathing in and removing suffering from beings, or wishing for them to be free of suffering. And they said that actually made a difference for them. It made a difference for them in the way they look at other people. It made a difference for them in the way they interact with other people. They said, I did not expect this. I didn't expect something so simple to have such a positive effect. And it's just wishing, like wishing upon a star when we're a child, right? But it's this wish that you have over and over and over again. You keep making the wish. You keep making it in your heart. When you see somebody suffering and you don't know what to do, you make a wish that they're free from that suffering, even if you can't solve it. I wish that this being is free from suffering. Or if you see someone who is in need, I wish for them to have everything they need. Even if you can't do it, you can make that wish. And by making this wish over and over again, it slowly changes you. It slowly changes you from the inside out, which is what my friend noticed. He noticed that he was just a little more kind to the people at work. Because sometimes people at work can be a little bit, shall we say, cranky. Yeah, and they can be a little judgmental, right? And sometimes you need to go to HR, But when those situations are not happening and you just need to open your heart, that wish will really help you out a lot. So that's my first piece of advice. Find something small and doable, like wishing for the benefit of others or doing 5 minutes of meditation every day. And by doing these things, you change gradually from the inside out. The second thing I'd like for you to do is I'd like to encourage you to learn something. Learn something new. And it could be something from your daily life. How to bake or how to cook or how to draw or any of these things. But it could be something, you can learn something new that challenges your mind. Or you could read a Dharma book. Sometimes, if you read a Dharma book and you don't understand it, you have this moment, what is this whole Buddhism thing for me? I'm not sure I understood that thing I just read. But one of my friends showed me a quotation from a Western Dharma teacher who said, when you read Dharma books, you should have two baskets in your mind. One basket is labeled, I don't get it, or I don't understand it. And the other basket is labeled, I don't know about that, meaning I don't know if I believe that or not. So when you read a Dharma book, if you read something that kind of like you're not sure you understand, you put it in the I don't get it basket. And then if you do get it but aren't sure you believe it, then put it in the I don't know basket. This way you don't put anything in the trash. Nothing goes in the trash. And I have a lot of friends from the 12-step tradition, and they like to say, take what you need and leave the rest. Something that's useful to you, you can take it and use it. And something that's not useful to you, you can set to the side until you're ready to use it. And it's like that with Dharma also. Learn one little bit of Dharma. Even if the one little bit of Dharma you learn is the 4 immeasurables prayer that we just read. May all beings be happy and have the causes of happiness. May all beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings have that great happiness which is freedom from suffering. May they dwell in great equanimity, free from attachment and aversion to those near and far. Which really describes our whole world right now. We really wish for all beings to be happy and free from suffering. So that's the second thing I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you to start a new good habit of meditation of some kind and learn something new. And I think the last thing I would recommend is being patient. Being patient. When Lama Lodro Lama was here in the old building, so this is a long time ago, right? She said something about patience that has stayed with me. She said, patience is not putting up with something. It's not putting up with something. It's being open to how other people are. So I'm going to repeat that because I think it's a real piece of wisdom. Patience doesn't mean you put up with something you don't like and you just endure something you don't like. It means that your mind is open to how other people are, which means your mind is open to everyone not being perfect. Your mind is open to yourself not being perfect. Your mind is open to other people being in a bad mood. Your mind is open and you're patient and you don't get angry in return. That's really what she was meaning. Because when we understand that everybody is just like us and they want to be happy, but they end up doing things that make them unhappy. So when we can see other people and think about, oh, that's me. That person is acting just like I have acted in the past, or that person is showing the same faults and failings that I have. When we can see that, that's patience. That's patience. It's like, oh yeah, I see how that person is. I'm like that too. So you can always pray to the Buddha for your patience. The Buddha was incredibly patient. After all, he practiced asceticism for 6 years before he figured out it didn't work. And he lived 20-some years in the palace before he realized the life of luxury did not work. So we can be a little bit patient with the things that come our way. Now, I know that you have given us so much time this morning. I don't want, to keep you much longer, but because we are running a little over on our program today. But if there are 2 questions, I'll take 2 questions if there are 2 questions. 1, 2, anybody have a question? Yes, sir. Yes, I'll repeat the question for the microphone.
Thank you. I've been wondering recently about the dichotomy between commitment and acceptance. So, could you speak on that?
Yeah, the difference between commitment and acceptance. Okay. You know, here's what I think. We can make a commitment to changing our habits. We can make a commitment to doing things differently. But we're human, so there's downfall and change. So we don't always make it. But it's good to keep making the commitment, and I'll tell you why. This, we can, how do I say this? Number one, we should never accept abuse from other people. My teachers, one of my teachers said, just because you're compassionate doesn't mean you have to be wrong-headed. He said it's never wrong to tell someone to stop hurting you, although we all know that there are certain people that you can't say that to. And we have to be realistic about that, right? We have to be realistic about things we can. What did my friends in 12-step? Accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that's the wisdom. That wisdom doesn't come immediately. That wisdom comes over time. Now, you may say, well, let's say the habit you want to change is getting angry. Let's say that's the habit you want to change. And you tend to get angry every day, maybe. Maybe that's the problem. And so should you accept that you're just an angry guy, right? And it can't change that. I think not. I think not. I think you can make a little bit of change. My teacher, Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche, used the example of a cup. Why commitment is so important. In the Buddhist tradition, every day we go before the Buddha, our image of the Buddha, and we take refuge in the Buddha as our teacher, the Dharma as our path, and the Sangha as our community. And if we have something we're working on, like anger, we say, Buddha, help me with my anger today. And so we make that commitment. End of the day, we come back and we say, how'd I do? Ooh, I did this, I held my patience here, I rejoice, and may I be patient more tomorrow. But this I didn't do so well, I regret this and I will do better tomorrow. But making the commitment is very important. He says it's like a cup. He says if you have a cup of tea, he said maybe there's a small crack in the bottom of the teacup. Small crack maybe. And he said, but when you pour the tea stays mainly in the cup. But a little bit might come out the bottom. And he said the cup is your commitment to changing your behavior. So, okay, maybe it's not perfect. Maybe your commitment to change, to not be angry is a little imperfect. But the majority of the tea stays in the cup. He says if you don't bother making the commitment, if you don't bother, he says it's like pouring tea directly on the table. It's like, it makes no sense, right? So he says it's better to make the commitment and know that there's going to be days when you fall short. As long as at the end of the day, you also rejoice in the things that you did that worked well. Because we can't be one-sided. We have to be even. So thank you for the question. Is there one more? Yes. Patience. Mm-hmm. There's a continuum of patience, okay? Because we all have different Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but I notice it myself. Everybody has a different personality. Some people are patient with one thing, but not with something else, right? So we all have a certain amount of naturally occurring patience. We'll put it that way, because maybe we can be patient with, a relative who tells the same story over and over again. Maybe we can be patient with that. But we can't be patient when somebody does something where there's an injustice. Okay, I understand that. Where somebody is doing wrong, maybe we can't be, Doesn't mean being patient doesn't mean you don't, you don't put criminals in jail. It's not, we don't go that far. But it means, being patient with something means that you recognize that you have a certain expectation of other people, right? And so sometimes that expectation is going to be disappointed. And so I think what we have, the challenge for us is how we are going to respond when when our expectations are disappointed, right? Okay. So I'm thinking that because our personalities are so different, we may unfairly judge ourselves. We might unfairly judge ourselves, comparing ourselves to somebody else who's very, very patient, and we're not patient at all. But what we could do also is be open to our own fault and say, yep, I got that, and I'm working on it, right? Rather than being impatient with ourselves, right? Because there's two kinds of patience. Patience with those other folks out there, and then patience with ourselves, right? And there's a continuum. So what you can do is, again, make this aspiration every day. And I mean it. It's like when we do something every day, it really makes, it kind of wears a groove in us, you know? And saying, today I'm going to do my best to be patient. And really what patience starts out as not retaliating. Patience begins with not retaliating. Or it begins with a generosity of spirit, like, I understand that person's having a bad day. I have bad days. I know what it's like. Somebody cuts me off in traffic, I make up a story. I make up a story. I make up a story. Oh my gosh, they're on the way to the hospital with a relative and they're just not paying attention to the traffic laws. You know, it's not like something against me personally. Although, even if it is, I tell myself that story. In fact, I tell that story to myself so often that my husband says, hey, where's that guy going? I said, wife going to the hospital to have a baby. So what's that guy doing? Oh, that one has a broken arm. So we try to replace anger with a different response. Because I'm getting older, and so is my husband, interestingly enough, at the same rate. And sometimes I forget something now, and sometimes he forgets something now that's very important. So instead of getting angry at him for not being able to remember, because I can't remember either, we've developed the habit of saying to each other, honey, our adventure continues. Because we can't plan on anything, really. He may forget it, I may forget it, but we're having an adventure together. We don't know where we're going, and we don't know if we're going to get there on time, but see, the idea is trying to be open to how other people are, trying to be patient with yourself as well as with others, making a commitment to try to work on patience, and then working on strategies, such as finding humor when your expectations are disappointed. So I don't know if that answers your question, though. I think there's a piece of your question I've left out. What do you think? Close? Close. Okay, good. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. I understand. You have to figure out which basket does it go in. Does it go in the I don't get it basket, or does it go in the I don't know basket? So it takes time. I still can't get over how different we all are. Now, in Buddhism, we have an explanation for that: karma. Everybody has a completely different karmic makeup. You came into the world with your karmic makeup from how many billions of untold lifetimes, right? So we all come with a certain, I'll call it karmic presets. And so, I remember when Lama Sultram Yeshe was here, he said, it's like we have all these preset buttons. And he said, so some people in English, I love English because some people say, that person really pushes my buttons, right? Meaning that they make you angry or they upset you. And Lama Yeshe said, well, you installed the buttons. These are your expectations that are being disappointed. You installed the buttons, so why don't you just switch them around? So I was like, I love humor because it can help. So thank you for that. And so because of time, we have to stop. But I just want to thank all of you for making this Losar Sunday celebration so amazing. And if anybody is still watching at home, thank you for sticking with us. I really appreciate the folks who are watching online. And I hope you get to come here sometime and see it in person. But meanwhile, I hope for the next 15 days you'll try a new habit, maybe meditate a little bit, maybe be patient with yourself, maybe make an aspiration, maybe learn something new, and stay with it. Well, let's sit quietly for a moment and mentally dedicate the goodness of this session. We dedicate the goodness of this session to all who suffer. There are so many right now. We send all this goodness out to them and make the aspiration that they're free from suffering and come to happiness, and then that they become awakened, just like the Buddha, and benefit all beings. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it, and by the way, thanks, Matthew, my little helper, and thank you so much. Okay, well then we will be seeing you back here next week. All right, take care, everyone. Drive safely. Om Mani Padme Hum.
Apologies if it was a touch choppy.
Well, hey, you know what?